Jeff in San Francisco. Hey, Jeff, what's on your mind today?
The post office.
Post office?
Yeah, well, my dad was a chief. He was the president of his union in Kansas City from 67 to 68. My mom still gets her widower pension from the post office. And I want to just talk about the Postal Accountability and Enhancement Act of 2006, what really destroyed the post office. And it was like a plan because they have 200,000 union workers. I think it is the largest union in the United States, isn't it?
Right. Right. Well, this is why the Republicans tried to destroy the post office. And frankly, I think probably one of the few things that saved the post office, bizarrely, was Amazon. I mean, you know, so much, or at least online purchases. They've picked up so much business now. It's hurting brick and mortar companies. But did that 2006 bill, it expired this year, didn't it? Or it's going to?
I'd have to check into that. That'd be great if it
I thought it was a 10-year period. For 10 years, they had to put $5 billion aside. They've got $50 billion now in the trust fund for when people, you know, who have not yet been born, retire. It's totally bizarre.
It's them.
Alex, your thoughts? Thanks, Jeff, for the call.
I could have set that caller, like paid that caller to call in. There's nothing I like talking more than the post office, because it has all the pieces. The right hates it because it works, because it is this fundamentally radical idea all the way back that everyone.
Ben Franklin.
Yeah, exactly. But literally radical idea that the quote unquote average person would have the right to send their words to Washington, D.C., right for a redress of grievance, that franking privileges were going to be for everyone, right? So like the core of it is this radical idea that citizens have the right to have their voices heard. And the right hates that. They want to restrict the right of people to people who can afford it. The problem from their eyes is the post office works incredibly well. So they go out of their way to what I say, you know, kneecap the mailman and then complain that the mail is late, right? That's what they do. They put up all of these things to make it very difficult. Now, any private business would have folded under this ridiculous pre-funding requirement, which was just to make it seem like there was a crisis. Right. But there is a really elegant solution besides Amazon, because I think that is a hook that if you hang your hat on, it'll fall off the wall in a few years. Yeah. But the answer is postal banking. We have these post offices all over the country, and they can be doing a lot more, and it would really piss off the bankers on Wall Street. This is something that, you know, I think everyone should get behind. We can do away with predatory industries like payday lending, because the banks aren't in every neighborhood.
Bernie was pushing this. Of course, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is in the bag with the payday lenders. So totally. The institutional Democratic Party, at least when she was running it, was opposed to that. But I think that this is it's a great suggestion. The other thing that most people don't remember, and I remember this very clearly from 2006 when this law was passed, was that the post office was showing such a profit.
Right.
And they had the largest fleet of vehicles in the country, the largest single-owned fleet of vehicles in the country. They were talking about taking 50% of the postal vehicles and turning them electric, flipping them electric. They had the money to do it. And they were going to start, you know, and putting charging stations all over the place and starting to helping to build out an electric charging infrastructure and booting that industry, helping that industry tremendously. And I believe, I could be wrong, this is my conspiracy theory, I believe that's the reason why the oil barons went to the Republican Party and said jump, and the Republican Party said how high, and they said let's take $50 billion out of the postal budget over the next 10 years and ruin them. There's no way we want them to have electric vehicles on the road. And so they're still driving around in these postal vehicles that are 10 years old now. And it's just a crime.
I did not know that angle, but it actually makes a lot of sense.
It was a big story, actually. I remember reading the article. There was a whole long article about, I think, in the New York Times, might have been USA Today, whatever, about, and then, just a couple months later, Bernie was on our program talking about how they're trying to take out the post office. And it's just, oh my God, it's like, 1 + 1.